My worry is that the programme of bank closures, particularly in recent years, that we have observed appears to disproportionately target the poorest communities in our society. We've seen well over 1,000 branches close in the last 2 years alone. In my constituency of Glasgow North East, where unemployment is twice the national average, and I had actually the lowest turnout of any constituency in elections, which shows that perhaps the level of disengagement that many people have. We've seen RBS closures in Postle Park, which is one of the poorest communities, not only in Glasgow but also in Scotland. And we've also seen the closure of the RBS branch Alexandra Parade in Denniston in recent months. And that has also been followed by the closure of the Clydesdale Bank in Springburn. It was a cruel irony, I thought, when I went down to look at the Clydesdale Bank branch in Springburn Way, just next to the shopping centre, that I saw well in business and doing a roaring trade was the Bright House branch, which is a rapacious organisation that fleeces the poorest communities in our society by essentially, I would argue, mis-selling consumer goods at outrageous rates of interest, and it's something that we should challenge as part of that. There's more people forced out of normal commercial banking into the hands of these rapacious lenders. I certainly know that in Postle Park and Springburn, they fall into the most deprived decile of the Scottish Index of Multiple Deprivation, and that includes them being in the bottom decile for employment, health, education and housing indicators. And that seems to be the case with a lot of branch closures, certainly in the Glasgow area, and I've pieced that together in a personal level. It would be interesting if the government could actually oblige banks to provide that data as a matter of national standards. Also, looking at that contrast in the wealthiest parts of the city, the example I looked at was Byres Road. Every major bank is represented in that area, the wealthiest, arguably, postcode in Glasgow. So it's an interesting contrast that banks seem to be withdrawing from the poorest communities whilst maintaining their services within the richest parts of Glasgow. And if that's extrapolated across the UK, it paints a very dismal picture indeed. So the picture today in the UK is one of perilous dislocation, of banks being withdrawn from our most vulnerable communities. It is the duty of this House and this Government to not simply capitulate to free market dogma, but to temper and control that market in the public interest.